What's up everyone on YouTube? I'm back with another video talking about Tekken 8. This time it's gonna be my first character guide talking about the matchup against Lidia. I'm gonna try to keep it short, but I can't promise it. We'll see how long this video goes. There might be some cuts here and there if I forgot something or if I am adding something at the end or something, so please keep that in mind. And yeah, first character I want to start off is Lidia. Character who can really overrun you with stances and stance transitions if you have no idea what's happening. So I want to break it down a bit for you guys and show you guys what the plan is against Lidia. So first things first, the first thing I wrote down is risky lows. If you look at her lows, like her key lows, you will see neutral a lot, will be down back 4, which is minus 13, down back 3, which is like her homing sweep that also gives that knockdown on counted. As you can see, it says minus 11, but you are locked in the stance, which means even if you block it, you can punish it, you can launch it, she can't escape from it. So it's basically like a health sweep. It's just a bit weird because you don't really see a block stun or something, a stagger. You just have to be ready and launch, because otherwise it's gonna knowledge check you the whole time. So you have to show the Lidia player that you know it, and we don't abuse it the whole time. Other than that, we have down 2, which is her high crushing low, which is also not the best low since she is minus 4 on hit. And the only good thing about this is that she gets full crouch down for 2 here, like this. Yeah, I did it too late. There we go. So keep that in mind. This is minus 14. These are like the 3 lows in the neutral that you will see a lot. When it comes to stances, like in horse, which is this one, mostly you will see this stance from 4-4-2. And then we can go 1+2, which is this here. This is a counter launcher, as you can see. So the idea is, if you block this, also again, if they go for this a lot, it is minus 18, so it's launch punishable, easy peasy. And then also from Stalking Wolves, which is one of her stances, we'll go for the stances in a bit. Let's say she goes like this. This low and the mid comes automatically, so if you only have to press 1 button and she does the second hit. Also again minus 16, so these are like the main lows you will see, and they're all really risky. It's either gonna be while standing for 1+2 or launch, you know. This launch, you have this one, this is launch, and you have this one. These are like the main lows. There's this one, right? This low one, you will see this a lot from down forward 2. If you do block it, you use your 11 frame punish. She goes into stance again, but she can't block, so you punish with your 11 frame punish again, right? That's about the lows. So risky lows, she has to take definitely some risk. Other characters punish her harder, like Jin for example. But still Leo has very good punishment, so keep that in mind. Now to some generic tips against Lidia. 4-4-2 is like her main approach to, right? This move is the move you will see the most of the times. Good way to deal with this move is by walking her a lot. In general, walking against Lidia is really good. Like, this got nerfed a lot from Tekken 7. This used to track way more and used to recover crazy as well. I think I recorded it wrong. Wait. Let me do it again. So yeah. Oh, it's because I did the recording very delayed. But usually it doesn't track at all, as you can see. Usually when I say when you walk against Lidia, it's mostly to the right. There's some other moves that I will mention in a second where you also want to walk to the right. That's like the generic tip, right? If you have someone, especially, I'm gonna mention heat in a second. They use that move a lot in heat as well, right? So, because this is the launch on heat, we go like this. So they will definitely approach you with this at some point. So walking her to the right is not a bad idea. You do have to time it a little bit. Don't just never stop walking, because otherwise she just easily realigns with you. Time it a bit if you have a feeling. Right. Then we have down forward 2. These are like 2 of them. Like you have like 3 moves of Lidia you will see the most when it comes to stance transitions. That is forward 2. You have down forward 2, which you want to cover now, and you have down back 3. These are like the main ones you will see. With down forward 2, pretty easy. If you block it, I would always recommend to jab check on block. There's nothing she can do. If it's heat, actually not not even in heat, to be honest. Only if you go like this maybe. Let me see. Oh, I don't have heat, wait. Where's my heat? Let's see if that works. If I say something wrong. Okay, only in heat. Only in heat. I will mention it in a second, but outside of heat you can always jab check. She has nothing that beats it. Like, she has this here. This is her fastest move, which is down forward 2, 3. This is her homing high, heating gauger. Even if you jab check that, you punish, right? If you do down forward 1, you will trade. So, and since 2-2 is obviously not safe, you know, you just jab check. Very good. That beats all the fake options, right? Even if I would show the low, it won't go under. Like, if you're fast enough, that is. If you're too slow, you see? If you're too slow, then yes, okay. But you see on block, jabs, easy peasy. Don't get to this fake mix-up. Next move is down forward 1-2 and down forward 1-3. Quickly mention that. So you have down forward 1-2. If you know Brian, this is basically the same. This is not an elbow, by the way. First things first. It might look a bit like it. Or like I thought it at the beginning she punches with her elbow, but it's not. It's just her arm. So this is a high, right? You duck the second, you can launch it. If they try to poke with that in neutral, that happens a lot as well. I'm gonna try to avoid that. If they go for the mid, which is this here, minus 13, so you punish. Or secret Leo tip, you can always up back 1 that. If you have a feeling they'll go for this every time, up back 1 is your move. Since it suddenly gets way better damage wise, you know, 43 instead of 33. Plus you get heat and lightning glare. So yeah, secret Leo tip. This is the mid-high mix-up, basically. But it's not bad to also just randomly duck after the first hit, if they go for the second hit, right? For the high. Because this is okay. Like, you can eat a few of these. Just have to kind of see how your opponent plays, but it's good to have that in your mind. Other than that, back 1 is like the most used heating gauger in neutral. This move is really good. Plus 2, so it's safe and it's her turn even. With this move, it's basically let's see. Again, I would recommend walking more to the right than left. If they go for late this, for example, the situation, sets the board beats it, right? Where you want to go right against her. Because left won't work. Maybe down back 3 in that scenario, because you're very far away. But those are like niche things. In general, try to walk right. The neutral, because it's just effective against her a lot. Right. Never left, never left. Always right. Okay, I think now we'll talk a bit about some stances. Because otherwise, I'm trying to think, but like, you have some homings, you know, she has this here to stop you from walking, which gives her plus 10, which means if that hits, 1 to 2 is guaranteed. And And she has back 4. That's like the only decent homing she has. The rest is not that good. Sometimes they might forward this string from forward 3. Also duckable on block. If you block the first hit, you can duck the second. It's just like this. Right? These are like kind of the neutral things. The most important things are now what happens during heat state, right? Heat and the stances, like the transitions and stuff. So I'm gonna cover that now. Oh yeah, also wall running 1. It's also more like of a heat thing, to be honest, but I'll mention it now. They do like to forward wall running 1 at times. It's +6. It's not like Dragonov or something, like you can duck it if you have a read or something. Okay, let's talk about the stances. The most important one that I want to talk about is from 4-4-2, which is this, right? This is like the most common approach to. Let's just say there's no real counterplay to it, as in one option beats everything. You're always kind of in a mixed situation. Let's just record all options, right? You have this. You have this. You have this. You have this. And one more. So, you have an option to jab after 4-4-2 on block, right? That's one option. If you jab after 4-4-2 on block, you beat a lot of options. You beat this one. This is the mid heat engager, right? This one. So she goes like this. On block, you beat this. Okay. Wait, we might this in a second. You beat the jumping, which is the homing. You know, you float that. You beat the slow mid, which is this one. All just by jabbing. Now comes the two things that loses to jabs, which is the high crush, unfortunately, and the power crush, as you can see. That loses to that. Now, there's another way how you can stop these dances, and that is crouch jabbing. You know, for Leo it would be down back 1. Let's see again. It beats the mid heat engager. It beats the power crush. You can even launch her afterwards, because you can visually see it. You have the one option where you lose, which is the homing. This one, because he jumps over it. You beat the mid, the X kick, and you beat the low. So this beats everything but the jump, right? You have to test it for yourself. Honestly, I think Lig Jab is really good, since even if she does, like they love the power crush a lot, and the damage is really good afterwards. So yeah. Alright, sorry for the weird break. I had to do something really quick, so we're back. Next up, I want to talk about the stances and the moves from the stances and what you have to know about them quickly. So let's say 4-4-2 hits you, right? There's no option select, you can't do anything. You have to respect what's coming up next. The most typical move, or like, follow-up is this one. This is Horse 2. Heat engager, and it puts her into Heaven and Earth, which I will talk about in a second. This move on its own, like if this is unblocked, is -10. So please punish that. It used to be safe for quite a while in Tekken 7, then it was punishable. And it's still punishable at -10. Keep that in mind. This is a very typical version that they would like to go after 4-4-2. Right? Other than that, you have 3, which is the homing. It's a high, it's a mid, sorry, it's a mid. And you can't walk it, it tracks obviously both sides, it's homing, and it's safe. Then you have 4, which is this kind of slow move at 28 frames. Goes into the next stance, which is Stalking Wolves. This is basically her mix-up stance, but I want to cover it in a second. is just plus on block and try to respect what comes afterwards, cause she is plus 8, so you don't have any playtime to do something in between. Depends what she does. Sometimes there are situations where you could crush it with down back 3. I've seen situations, or I've been in situations where, depending on the timing, this can go like this, yeah. But this is very inconsistent. You could try, like visually see that, but it depends also on the range from where she hits you. So it's nothing I would recommend. Can work sometimes, but yeah, this is horse 4. Then she has horse 1, which is the homing high again, and goes again into stalking wolves. So the mid kick goes into stalking wolves, and the power crush goes into stalking wolves. That's for now what you have to know. On hit you have to respect. And at the end you have the counter launcher, which is launch punishable. So this is kind of risky for the Lidia player, if you are ready to punish it properly. And on a hit you mostly don't want to do anything but hold back, you know. Only if I really abuse this a lot, but the other moves are just way more dangerous to get hit by, right? So now, let's say we are at the stalking wolf. This is the health sweep basically. This is launch punishable. And you have 1, this here. This is plus 2. She can charge it, makes it plus 7. You know. And she has this, which is 3-1. If she goes on hit, for example, if she goes for this is safe, so you can't punish that. What you kind of have to know though is that if she does something like this, if this hits, this is fake. Like, stance transitions, I mean, depends how good you react to that, obviously. Depending how fast you are, you could even hop kick, right? So it's a matter of getting this into your muscle memory, that if she transitions like this manually, it's not plus. Not on hit, not on block, it doesn't matter. You can always interrupt. If it's like this, for example... I didn't record. Let's say it's from that axe kick. Then it's a whole different story. Since this one is plus 8, and then she goes into stance, right? As I mentioned. This is from move into the next stance, right? But if she goes manually into the stance by tapping forward, then it's not real. We keep that in mind. That is a generic rule, besides a bit of heat that I will cover in a second. But that's like the generic thing to know, right? Goes from anything. Goes from down forward 2 into manual transition. Not from move, but just manually. Or it's in forward 2. It doesn't matter. If you see that manual stance transition, it's not real. So now we covered stalking wolves. No, it's the more mix-up heavy stance with the save mid and the health sweep. We have horse with the heat engager, which is dangerous, and the low, which is launch punishable. Now we have cat foot stance 2, which is this one, right? Like down forward 2, while standing forward 2, 1-2-2. One thing for 1-2-2 also, this is launch punishable, right? Just think of a flash punch, like Kazuya 1-1-2, it's the same thing. I can't hold back here. And again, it says -8, whatever. It's launch. You have to be ready though, but it is launch. You can't block. Now Catfoot stance 2 is not as deadly as a stance as other stances, but it has some good options. Let's say down forward 2 hits you, right? Like this. There are a few options where I like to go from that Catfoot stance. One is the free option, which is the heat engager. It's a high. So if you have a feeling they go for that a lot, or you could risk ducking it, because I mean she has other options, but they usually like to go for this, especially like after white standing 4-2, which is her 11th frame punch. They like to go for this. As a Leo, I sometimes like to try out things like this. That works a lot. Let's say you haven't ducked or you got punished. You could try the kick parry. The Amount of times this works is actually quite a lot, because they like to go for the heat engager. Other than that, she has that low, which goes again into a stance, reminding you again. It goes from a move into the next stance, respect it. She's +8 again, don't do anything. Again, if it's unblocked, then just use your 11 frame punish, right? Counter launcher, so be careful. It has high crush properties, so be careful of that. It crushes high is very good. Again, the high here again. Then she has that string, which she can delay a bit. That's more like a little gimmick, because it's not natural. Like the first one natural. Let's see. I'm not saying anything wrong. Maybe not even the first two are natural. Not even sure. Ah no, not even the first two. So yeah, it's more like if people are delaying it very much, they have a chance they mash into the third one. That's why they delay it like this. But that's kind of it with that. And you have Cat Foot Stance 1, which knocks down. And it's safe, right? It's usually the most safest way for the Lidia players to continue on from here. And then she has 1+2, which you can also again punish. Let me actually see how much. I would believe -13. No, okay. So I am assuming, since Lidia doesn't have 12 frame, we use 2-2 here. Yeah. 2-2. And again, she goes into stance, so if it's on block, this is Stalking Wolves again. Let's see if we do this, for example. In this case, since it's on a very minus move, right? And you want to punish it, you could even try to launch her. This is 17. I'm just trying to see if she has anything faster. Maybe this. Let's see. Yeah, you can even launch that, to be honest. I don't know how much they really do that. Let me quickly check. If you hold back here. Yeah, okay. If they commit to a move, you can launch them. If they don't, if they hold back afterwards, you can punch them 2-2. It's a little mind game. So that's like the 4 stances, right? You have Horse, you have Stalking Wolves, you have Cat Foot Stance, and then the last one, which is Heaven and Earth, the Heat one. I'm gonna cover this right now. So, this stance is a bit crazy. She has a few moves where she instantly transitions from it, like while running 1. And also some moves from other stances, like from Stalking Wolves, you can transition into it. And this move, or this stance, she can also manually go from any stance by holding up. So she can press forward for 2 and then up. It goes into stance. Down for 2, up. Pressing for 2, up. Number 1 tip. Since this stance has auto parry, let's say they do this, right? Or let's say they do the classic that you see everywhere. Hop kick, right? You can't hop kick it. You can't jab it. Could do lows, yeah. Well, the reward is not that big, but it works. There's 2 things you can do with Leo here. You can either do power 2+3. It hits her too much to the side that the parry works. So this is always gonna work. You can always do forward 2+3. Let's say redirect it. See, it's just she can't parry that. And what you also can do is throw her. Since parries work very similar in Tekken 8 in a way where if you whiff it, for example, if you do Zabaki and you punish, you do throw, it counts as a counter. You can punish parries with throws. And since she's active the whole time during that state as a parry, suddenly throws are becoming unbreakable. So if she goes like this, you could also just throw her. Really important, also for side switching, for wall combo, you know, positioning. But this also works really well. But you can't go hopping or anything. That's not gonna work. Right? That's number 1. Then number 2, the options from it. Let's say she's doing forward for 2, 2. Okay, wait. Let me do that again. She has 3 options from here, right? She has this here. Also depends on how much stocks she has, the damage change. She has this one. And she has 1 plus 2. Oops. My bad. Oops. Pressing it too early. This is the guard way. So, all of this is a mix-up. She puts her in a true 50-50. She's in that stance, and you have to guess. She has that mid, which you just saw. That mid is plus on block. She is plus 6, so you have to respect it. There's nothing you can really do. What I like to do is, honestly, you have to guess anyways, right? So you have to do something. You either have to block, you either have to duck, or the guard break, something. You have to decide for something, right? It's kind of up to you what you can go for. What you can do is, if they go for the guard break, down back 3 beats it, right? Because you would know, usually you can also just duck it and launch, right? If you wanna duck, you might as well just do down back 3, since the damage is even better. If you think they'll go for this one, this is the mid, right? What you also can try is Sabaki, right? Sabaki also works well, since you have the time. But be a bit careful, because we can also delay it. Let's say you do this, and then you can delay it like crazy. Watch this. So now, finally, you can't mash out Sabaki anymore. If I mash Sabaki now, I'm losing. So, it's maybe not the best option, but it definitely works. You can try. You can also just try it out once and see what your opponent does. Is he delaying it, or is he just mashing it out instantly? Because that kind of depends on that, right? And the other one is mid launcher, power crush as well. You're plus 11, so it's minus 11. 2-2. 2-2 or 1-2 if you're a bit late. These are like the 3 moves, right? And what you have to know is, when Lidia is in heat, they like to go for 1-1-1, often in neutral, because that move hurts like a truck, right? Because they do this into this, so much damage, right? And on block, they put you in that blender again. So, not a bad idea to duck against the stance, against in heat. Again, parry works. But you have to be careful, since also forward for 2 is the launch and heat. So, if you really want to play it safe, my game plan usually, if I'm really trying to play safe, is to just wait out her heat and just don't risk too much, because the round can go so fast if you really try to hard read something. Only if you have a good read you can try, but just keep that in mind that it can go very quickly over for you. Be careful of that. And also, what did I want to say? Yeah, she does a lot of chip damage. So let's say they do like this, right? Maybe some fake pressure. Wait, let me do that again. They do like... that doesn't work. Okay, let's say like this. Wait. Like this. So much chip, right? And then if I also add the heat smash, that's a lot of chip, right? So it is crazy. It's not a bad idea to save your heat to recover your gray health with a heat engager. just be careful that you're not getting chipped out completely to death, because the more stacks she has, the longer the heat timer goes, right? So basically, she can use way more moves. Like this is all chip. You see how much chip she does in heat? Keep that in mind, you know. If you want to go for a hard read, you can try. Like for example, parrying certain moves, or like down back freeing if you think it's a guard break. It's kind of a mix-up. That's kind of the ugly part about it. There's no real like option against it. But now you know like down back free can work, Zabaki can work. And in general, if you do block this move, then respect it, because +6, it's her turn completely, right? Heat is what makes her really strong. Outside of heat, she's kinda generic, not that good. Lows are kinda lacking, like very risky. Tracking is not that good. You can walk most things to the right. And the heat is where basically the crazy things are happening, right? You just have to know the stance and everything. Other than that, you know, you have one command foe, which is 1+2 break. Gives her decent Oki. Doesn't wall spread though, so she doesn't get a combo anymore like in Tekken 7. And I mean, that's the usual game plan against what you do against Lidia and the stances and everything, right? If I missed something, please let me know in the comments. I'll try to help you out. I hope that somewhat made sense to you. And as again, thank you so much for watching. And I don't know which character I'll do next. We'll see how I'm feeling. But this was for the beginning. Thanks for watching again, and have a nice day. Take care.